Huh?
I would say not.
Yes. Okay. So at this point, at 7 o'clock, I'd like to call the Town of Wappinger Planning Board meeting to order. Can we all rise for a pledge to the flag? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Okay. We have the secretary perform roll call attendance, please.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
Mr. Truss?
Here.
Mr. Glorioso?
Here.
Mr. Medina?
Here.
Mr. Flower?
Here. Okay. All the board members should have received the minutes from the April 20th meeting. No comments or concerns. Entertain a motion to accept.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Okay. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. All right. First item on the agenda this evening is a public hearing for site plan and special use permit for Subaru, building expansion, amended site plan. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead, if somebody wants to make a motion to open the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay.
Good evening, Board. My name is Kyle Bagwell, civil engineer at the LaBella Associates, here representing Subaru Mid-Hudson. Alongside me today is Dan DePalma, who is the Director of Service at the Wappinger Subaru site. At the last meeting we came to, we received the waiver on light pole height. We had showed the board changes we made to the plans related to the wetland disturbance. We discussed some of the existing landscape to be relocated on site and be happy to put together a bond. We discussed the very minor comments that were remaining from our planning and engineering comment letters, all of which we're confident we could address as conditions of approval. Again, we're here tonight as a public hearing, so we wanted to hear from the public to see if there was any comments we could respond to. So my thought was to open up to the public to see if there was any comments. And then I know that I was here for the workshop and heard some of the concerns that were brought up at the last meeting related to employees. Just want to strengthen the fact that the operation is planned to operate at a limit of 40 employees. That's what it was approved at for usage for septic and water. That is what the plan is. We'd be happy to include that in the resolution as a condition of approval and in the resolution of approval that we are capped at 40 people, and we would have to come back in front of the board and get approvals if we were to increase that on site. Dan will be able to speak to the letter that we prepared, kind of depicting why these service bays would help with the existing faculty on site. So with that, we wanted to let the board depict if they want to open it up to the public first, or how you would like to proceed.
Well, we have, let's see, well, I have the manager here. Does anybody want to ask him any questions before we open up the floor to the public?
Well, you have 40 on site now, or is that what's the approved amount?
I don't have the final employee count, but that is what we're approved for.
I know you're approved at that. In terms of how you're operating today, do you have a full 40?
I don't have that number at the moment.
You don't know?
No.
Is that just the service department, or is that the whole complex, the whole company?
The whole property, the operations approved for 40 daily employees.
How many people do you run your service department a given day? So there's a 40-person operation total, and you run 20 people each day in the service department. And how many bays do you have right now?
11. Or, sorry, 10.
So some of those service people are not working on cars?
That's correct. We have service advisors and valets.
So how many employees on a normal day do you have scheduled to work on your cars?
Work on cars,
Mechanics.
probably about 10 to 15.
So 10 to 15. So you have 20 bays now, you said?
We have 10 bays.
10 bays. So then you'd be getting 38 bays with 10 to 15 employees,
That's correct.
keeping it the same.
Yes. Well, to speak with that, like at the moment, we have certain valets and service advisors. With this planned expansion, we'll be able to relocate some employees to work on cars as well.
Which employees will be relocated?
Are certain valet employees that are currently just driving cars from the drive and into the parking lot.
So, would you still have valet employees, or are you getting rid of the position?
They would, no, because we would have oil change employees working on cars, driving the cars from the drive into their bay. So at the moment, we have a bottleneck, right? We check cars in.
Yep.
We need to have a person there driving it to the back lot because we don't have a bay available for that car.
Yeah.
If we had a bay available, we can just take an oil change guy, bring it right in, start the oil change.
Gotcha.
So this plan will alleviate that bottleneck, removing the need for any valets.
While the other bays are all tied up with other vehicles?
Correct.
Hey, I mean, listen, you're the mechanic expert. If you have a way of running 38 bays with 10 to 15 employees, then
Well, like I said, we'll go from 10 to 15 technicians to close to 20. Well, no, 10 to 15 total employees, right? And
So you're cutting down on the valets
We're gonna-
and bringing in more mechanics.
correct. Yeah, that's the plan.
so you're not going to have LAs. You don't need them.
We won't need them, right. The service advisors will check in the car with the customer in the drive, go back to the desk, write up the repair order, while the technician then takes the car directly into their bay. Where currently we cannot do that because we're limited on bay availability. Also, some of the other technicians that work on bigger jobs like an engine resealing or replacement or transmission, they can have one car torn apart in their bay and start working on the next car that needs to get done.
Yeah.
The bigger jobs can wait a couple days while the little jobs need to get done more fast. Currently, they have to put the car back together or scramble to get everything together and put it into the closet and push the car out, or put it back together so they can drive it out, so they can pull in another car, adding more time to these big jobs that shouldn't really.
Listen, I totally see the need for more bays, trust me. To get a car fixed anywhere around here is like impossible. Everybody's packed.
Yep.
They don't have space. My concern is I don't want to feel like we're being fed a story of not hiring any employees just to bypass potentially having to deal with a septic issue, and then getting approved and then turning around and hiring a bunch of employees, which is going to tie up more parking spaces, and then all of a sudden we have a bigger problem with where these cars are going.
Yeah.
And you're not to what the plan allows, and then we have to do more work, and Judith has to do more work to bring everybody back and then go through the whole process. I'd rather just see it. But if you guys, if your firm is confident that you can do this without hiring one single employee and keep it under the 40 employees, then great. Everybody will get the cars done faster.
Everyone wants their car done.
That's it. All right.
Okay, satisfied the comments?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, at this point, we'll open up the floor for public comment. If there's anybody here from the public that wishes to speak on behalf of this application, please come up to the podium, state your name for the record. All right, seeing none. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded. All in favor? Aye. And opposed, seeing none. Okay, so at this point, we're pretty much down to the end of the
Yeah,
line on the review process.
I got one open comment. I don't know if you saw my revised comment with respect to the loading zone. I think there had been miscommunication about what we were looking for with respect to that loading zone. I don't have any issue with that. If the board is inclined, I have no issue with that being a condition of approval. You don't need to, wait for that. But if you had questions about that comment that you wanted to clarify, now would be a great time.
Yeah, no, I thought that comment was pretty straightforward, and I
Okay.
think there was just communication, so we could definitely address that and would, ask if we could make that a condition of approval.
Sounds good.
Okay. So it was, right, that was the only open item you had?
On mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing from you?
Nothing from us.
Then I would just remind the board, if they are inclined to authorize a resolution, it is for site plan, special permit, and a negative declaration
site.
under seeker.
Okay. All right, so anybody want to make a motion to authorize the planner to draft a resolution of approval for all the above items?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Motion's made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion carries. So you're all set. There's going to have, the planner will draft the resolution, and then at the next meeting, we will vote upon it. Okay? And the item, his open-ended item will be a condition of the, that approval.
Thank you,
Okay.
board, we appreciate it.
All right.
Have a good night.
Have a good day. All right. Our next item on the agenda this evening is architectural review for Goodwill storage area walls. Is there anyone here from Goodwill?
They were earlier. I remembered seeing them.
I was
You
going
want me
to
to
say.
check? Oh, there they are.
That's, okay.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hi, Bart Brody, the engineer for the applicant Goodwill, and I'm with, introduce yourself.
Hi, how are you guys? Jose Cadiz, Goodwill Vice President, Real Estate Operations.
Okay. All right. So, all right, so since the last meeting, I think most of the board members have gone out, took a look at the building itself. And we did see the change, I mean, let me back up here. So what you submitted on paper just still shows the vinyl siding?
No, I submitted two, so I'll tell you the whole progression went through. If you remember at the last meeting, there were two issues
Right.
that the board brought up. And one was about maybe not doing all vinyl and possibly doing partial stucco. So I gave two versions, the original version and an option version with the stucco.
Okay.
So that's,
Right, so tonight, at least what I have left in front of us, it only has the one sheet. The electronic version did have the stucco on it.
I have one copy if you want me to bring it to you, and you can look at it collectively.
I don't know if anybody wants to take a look at that.
Take a look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I showed on the building in the detail, you see it goes for stucco. Now, one of the other issues that was brought up last time was the situation with the parking, possibly was it approved for storage? So we went into the files and were able to pull two plans. And maybe you saw one from 1997, one from 1993 that show it as storage, even when it was, I believe it was a channel.
Yeah.
If everybody remembers channel.
Yeah, so it looks like it was always
It was always
square
storage.
footage.
So I think that resolves that issue. So now we're just dealing with the architecture.
Yeah.
So we went back to the site, and Jose has some pictures of existing and proposed, but the building has been added to through the years, and Hannaford's is we're on the north side of the building, Hannaford's is on the south side of the building. They have a vinyl front. They have brick and then a vinyl front and then a vinyl south side. Then you have the original building, which is like the Goodwill, mostly glass, but as you said before, it is split-face block, is the block, right, around the glass. And then you hit Goodwill, which is currently fenced. So that's what the front of the building, that's the front, right? Yes. That's what the front of the building looks like. That's the fence with the vinyl strips in the fence for privacy. What we plan to do, and we'll give you, we could show you both versions of, this would be with the partial stucco, and we also have one showing all vinyl, and the colors would match, so it looks somewhat seamless. And you're correct, the mansard is metal. That's the vertical siding above. And show the side, Jose. So we'll show you the existing side. That's the proposed side.
Okay. With the garage door.
With the garage door,
Towards the
yes.
back, yeah.
And that's with the stucco.
Yeah.
and that's what it looks like now. Now, the siding that we plan to use, and I noted it on the plan, is by CertainTeed, Main Street, and it does have a lifetime fade warranty. So vinyl made today, it's called Permacolor Lifetime Fade Protection. The vinyl made today is different than the vinyl made even 10 and 15 years ago. The chemical compound in the vinyl allows so the UV doesn't really break it down like it used to. It doesn't get chalky and powdery. Remember, you go to an old vinyl,
Yeah.
you put your hand on it, you get it on your
Right,
hand.
get it all over your hand.
They corrected that, or they so saying CertainTeed is the biggest manufacturer of vinyl in the country.
Shows the stucco.
Huh?
That's the one he gave us. Shows the
Oh, this is the, okay. All right, you want to look at that?
Yeah, how'd you arrive at the 6 foot of,
Well, that was actually, we talked about it at the last meeting, that would probably be a good location. I think it looks sharp like that. If you go to the top of the door, it looks funny. If you go above the door, it looks funny. So you want to intersect somewhere segmented on the door, so you usually go 4 or 6 feet.
Yeah.
and did you look at that, what do you call it, split rock?
Split face block.
Did you look at that as a solution?
One, it would be difficult the way the poles are, because the split face block used in the rest of the building was actually used to construct the building. It's a structural component. It gives you both structure and finish, so it's not two separate items. Then when it came to the storage area, there are poles. The poles would be in the way, so the block would have to stop where the poles are. But with the frame wall, we can hide the pole in the wall. And honestly, the owners of the building, who we had to get permission to even attempt to do this, because Goodwill is just a tenant, didn't want all block, because without the glass face like everywhere else, it would look very funny. They were more for the vinyl and anything, and they're okay with the stucco wall, so we had to run it by them. We also asked them if we have an all stucco. They said absolutely not. They won't allow all style. So they said these two, they'll approve, either one are fine, so we leave it to you. We can do either of the two.
Okay, all right. So, I mean, with all the board members, I mean, what do you guys feel with this? You saw the 2 representations on with the pictures. They did
As
the
much
2
as the
mock-ups.
stucco looks nicer, I still think that 3 different styles on one side throws it off a little bit. I would almost just say stick with the vinyl all the way through.
Let's stick with the vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay. Jim? Huh? You good with either?
Because you got vertical, horizontal, and then a flat surface. So I think it's just architecturally, it just throws off the whole thing. Might as well just keep it 2, vertical and horizontal.
Vertical and
You
horizontal.
got the brick columns,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's already
Yeah,
there.
yeah, so that's.
Yeah,
Okay.
it would get really busy really fast.
Yeah, that's fine. I can go. I can go along with that,
With the, okay.
you know.
So, all right. So everybody's in consensus of going with just the siding on there?
Just the vinyl.
As their, okay, the vinyl siding. All right. So if somebody wants to make a motion to approve the vinyl siding, complete vinyl siding on those 2 sides?
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Motion's made, seconded. All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion
Thank you very
carries.
much.
You're all set.
Have a good evening.
All right, have a good evening. Take
Before
care.
you guys leave, just, I had driven back there, and I know you said that Goodwill is not an owner, they're just a tenant, but there's a catch basin right around the back road, right behind the storage area, that's collapsed and falling in. So I would just let the owners know it. It looked like it was deteriorating pretty good, so, all right? Yep.
I'll call Sherry. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. All right. Our next item
Building Department Hall.
this evening is a discussion regarding Stonebrook Estates. All right. So,
Can I ask a question before you give us your opinion? I just want to ask one quick question.
yep.
You're going to tell us we can't do this time?
I am.
I just want to see where's the existing house. Okay, now, and what's the access there to the house?
There's a driveway off Hopewell Road.
Okay. And where is the road that comes in? What's that gonna be?
You said one question?
Sorry, 3, I said.
I'd like to understand the relation of this to the moratorium.
Unfortunately, we can't.
Okay.
There's not, your hands are tied.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, okay, so state your name for the record, please.
Good evening, Michael Lund, applicant. Good evening, Beatrice, planning board, Holden's.
Okay, all right, so, Michael, so the issue we have here is this, they made the application, there was a pause in the moratorium that the town board has imposed. I guess right after you had submitted this application, the town board went and reimposed the moratorium, which carries for another 30 days. So as the moratorium is written, the planning board cannot act on this application at all. We did put it on the agenda at the time because it was received. There's really nothing we can do because, again, to have staff look at to actually review the application, the moratorium prevents them from reviewing it. The other problem is that with the current zoning changes that are being proposed, what's currently being proposed is not going to, is currently going to be, I believe, larger lot sizes, so which would then, cut back on the number of lots you'd be able to get. So, I mean, our hands are kind of tied at this point. We left it on the agenda, I mean, just to give you, the opportunity to say, yeah, and acknowledge the fact that, yes, the application was received, but beyond that, upon advice from our attorneys, is, we really can't do anything with this, because the town board has set the moratorium. Unless you were given some specific waiver from the town board, we're kind of stuck.
This is the first I'm hearing about this. I mean, we made our application, we were told the moratorium expired, so that the town was open for business, and the planning board would receive our application just as standard practice. So that's why I believed we were on the agenda tonight, to give a little backstory on the project. I see there's probably some members from the public that I'd be happy to talk about the project. What we're planning to do, we started this project back in 2024, prior to even hearing of the moratorium, and expenses were put into the project. It's currently in an R20 zone. We're proposing 11 new single-family homes. Some of these lots are even over an acre. I am local. I'm doing the development on Myers Corners Road, as a lot of people in the town know, and on Chelsea Road. It's a great project. I know the style of homes that we'll do. So, hearing that I'm here tonight and that your hands are tied is a little disheartening, because we were told that our application was received and the town is open, and our goal tonight was to ask the planning board to declare the intent to start seekers, so we could put some more time and energy working with the consultants and outside agencies to formulate a plan.
Can I ask, didn't one of you or your team testify at the town board public hearing on the moratorium about this?
I have never testified at any public hearing. This is the first town meeting I'm at since this project has even been accepted. I was trying to get in here 2 years ago. I didn't even know about the planning moratorium. And it's been a long road, so I was kind of excited to be here, and to hear what I just heard is kind of disheartening. And I figured I paid the fee, submitted to the town, and town is open, so that's kind of how I would think towns operate, so.
Yeah. Again, it's, unfortunately, there's not much that we can say at this point. I mean, we can't even, it's, again, with the moratorium, the way it's been worded, I mean, our hands are kind of tied. We can't even review the application at this point.
Was the application received during a lapse in the moratorium?
The date of the application doesn't matter. Under New York law, what matters is that the time, once the moratorium goes into effect, it stops the application. And so you're not there. There's no clock running. There's nothing happening. We're totally at a standstill at the moment. So there's no clock in terms of environmental review, in terms of anything. So we're under a moratorium. You have to wait until the moratorium expires at this point. There's nothing that can be done for anything over 3 There's the 3 lots, right? Yeah.
But there was a lapse in the moratorium from what we were told.
Yeah, there was.
So that means
that's a fact.
But there's no moratorium then, correct? Like it expired?
No, the moratorium's in place now.
But there was a lapse when our application was received, payment was tendered, so officially, was there no moratorium? Is that what you're saying at the time?
Yes.
I'm not an attorney,
So, yes.
so I'm not trying to challenge you. I'm just, I've been on the sidelines for 2
So
years
yes,
here.
there was, so the moratorium,
So
the town board.
Moratorium, yeah, the moratorium
So I should
lapsed,
feel like-
and then the town board decided to.
I understand what you're saying.
After a public hearing.
I just feel like if payment was tendered, accepted, we should be exempt from that process right now. We should be able to be in front of the planning board, business is open, and if I would have came in after that, I would say no problem, and I'm not debating, I'm not an attorney, I'm not an engineer, but to me, I've been on the sidelines since February 2024 with this project. I'm not proposing anything outside the existing zoning. I think everyone can come see what I'm...
But February 24th of 2024, who was it proposed to?
We did all the wetland delineation, our Hudson land design, so I was coming in to make the...
I know, yeah, but I'm just saying, but you didn't make an application back then.
We were trying to, we couldn't. We were
Right.
told the moratorium is in place.
Because the town board had...
And then when we were notified that the moratorium ended, like you're either open or you're not, that's when our application, I wrote the check and was like, this is great. I want to get in front and go through due process and meet the neighbors and tell everyone what I'm planning to do, and it sounds like you're telling
Just so
me...
you're aware, under New York law, even if we were in a situation where, let's just say a different type of application, you're applying to ask for a lot line adjustment under certain zoning, and the zoning changed while you're doing your process, it doesn't make a difference. If the law changes, even while your application is placed, it doesn't matter. It renders, it doesn't matter at that point.
You know, I'm not an attorney. You answered my question just saying the moratorium expired officially, our application was received, my money was tendered as payment, I should be on the planning board agenda. That's just my position. I'm not arguing with anyone. I'm not here to argue. I want to do a good job by everyone.
Just give me a second here. At that time, when you made the application, the phone call was made to me, about this, because, again, it was just a lapse in the moratorium. I said, let me check with our attorney, and I did, and I said to him, listen, this is our situation, what do we do? And he says, well, put it on, it could go on the agenda. It doesn't mean that it's going to, that anything was going to happen, but it says you put it on the agenda, let them come, make the appearance. You could, again, now everybody has seen what you've shown, but again, our hands are kind of tied because shortly after that was submitted, the town board then put the moratorium back on, which prevents us from moving forward. Again, it prevents the town from accepting any new applications, but at the same time, it's also stated in there that we cannot process any applications that are in front of us. We have to wait for the town board to take an action. Once they take action, then things will be a little clearer to us to which direction it goes. It wouldn't make any sense for us to look at it under the current zoning, knowing that they have some zoning changes that they're going to make. I do know that somebody was at the meeting and they did discuss this at the town board meeting at least.
If this is the reason why this is done is so that you're not able to, you don't go through the process and then have everyone spend the time and money to keep going through the process, and then afterwards the town then have to, when the town board, if the town board makes any zoning changes that would then change the outcomes of the project, would then keeping you from having to go back to stage one. So we're just keeping you at stage one instead of having to go and spend all the money and then maybe potentially having to come back to stage one later.
I mean, we've already spent a lot of money, and we just spent more to get in front of you good people tonight, and I have probably a difference of opinion, so, So what does the planning board need to comment and, I mean, we're on the agenda, I don't know what the next steps are. I'd have to do a little research.
Currently, we need to, either the moratorium expires and the town board takes no action. That means that all the zoning stays in place, or the town board, turns around and passes some new legislation making changes to the zoning code, and at that point, we can then, we'd have to review this under the new changes that they make.
So being that
but it all falls, technically it all falls back into the town board's hands.
But being that our application was accepted and payment was tendered at the current zoning, and I know nothing about any new zoning changes or anything, so I just need to say that.
Yeah.
So that doesn't...
But it would be a waste, of time for us to review this too, and have, and have the, to do a review, start going down that path.
So what are the zoning?
Let's say that the town board changes zoning, and then you have to, before you get to an approval point, they change zoning, now we have to.
So they're going to change the zoning after you guys received our application on this property? Being that this has been kind of in the works for some time?
No, so they changed
Is it spot zoning, or what is that?
No. They're not, the zoning change has been in play for a while. So when they enacted the moratorium, shortly after they enacted the moratorium, they went to the board to adopt zoning changes for lot sizes. They haven't completed their review in order to make those changes.
And just to add to that, I've been involved in planning and zoning for a number of years now, not in this jurisdiction, and in every zoning change I have been involved in.
Okay.
If an application has been filed, it is still, whether it's been filed or it's in the review process at the planning board, it still requires compliance with new rules that go into effect unless those new rules specifically provide an exclusion for certain kinds of projects that may have been in the process. But if not, then it would be subject to the new rules if in fact they get adopted.
So do we go to the town board to try to rectify this? Like, how does this go? Like, does this application?
Well, I think, I mean, the town board at some point will have, discussion on the zoning changes again. They'll have a, not sure, did they have the public hearing yet, Richard?
On the zoning changes, not yet.
No, they haven't had a public hearing. So there will be a public hearing regarding the zoning changes, at their, at one of their meetings. I know that they've had a lot of discussion regarding the zoning changes.
So was the discussion?
Under New York law, if your application were to go forward, right? And as you're going forward, there's a zoning law change. That zoning law would be what would control. So you would then be subject to that zoning law at the time, no matter when your application is, your application date doesn't matter. If your application is pending, the zoning law at time is what controls.
At any point in the approval process as well?
Yeah.
So I guess I was just brought here to be told can't do anything and cash your check and see what happens? That doesn't sound like good.
No, you were brought here.
That doesn't sound like good business.
It was to get the application into the planning board, and so that when and if the moratorium is lifted.
But it was expired when our application
went. But now it's back in place, so now they're controlled under what New York law. They're controlled under that.
But I'm here because there wasn't a moratorium. I just want to be clear, right? It expired, so that's why I'm on this agenda. Because if there was a moratorium, anything 3 lots or more, I wouldn't be on the agenda, right?
We will get you. Follow the meeting. We'll get you correspondence, a letter that cites the law for you, so that you can have it and available. And that you can, that way you'll understand where the decision is coming from.
Yeah. So unfortunately, I think that's pretty much where we're at tonight. I don't think there's really too much we can do. And we're just acknowledging the fact that, yes, the application was received.
So can you refer this application to the town board so I can get on that agenda?
You can be put on the agenda for the time period after the expiration of the moratorium, correct?
Correct. If it's, if the moratorium once the moratorium expires, then we could put it back on our
When does the moratorium officially expire? Because no one in town hall ever knew when the moratorium expires.
Right now,
Which was interesting.
I believe we were just looking at that. There was I think it said 30 days was they enacted the moratorium for. So it's only for 30 days. So after 30 days.
Does that get extended again and again?
Then, and if the town, it's up to the town board to make their decision what they want to do. If they extend it again, it's up to them. But if they don't extend it, then yes, then we would, it would be okay for us to hear the application at that point under the current zoning.
Is there a town board meeting that anyone's aware of, the next town board meeting?
I don't know, they're usually, their meetings,
Second Monday,
yeah.
they always the second Monday every month, we're the first.
Yeah.
Can the planning board direct me and has this application to the town board as a discussion item?
But we don't refer the application to the town board.
So that never happens?
We're
Planning board
totally,
never-
we're totally separate from it's totally separate from the town board in terms of subdivision approval.
But in this case,
They
where
make,
you-
the town board makes, they create the laws, the zoning codes.
I understand.
And then it's our responsibility to
In
enforce.
this case, since the application was received, and now it sounds like your hands are tied, is what you're telling me, can the
Yes.
planning board make a determination to direct me to the town board to try to untangle your hands?
The planning board can't make any action whatsoever on this.
Yeah, so at the time, like I said, at the time at the window of time you submitted it, moratorium had expired for a short period of time. After that date, you made your submission, they reenacted the moratorium, which then directed us to the point where we can't process any applications for subdivision. I believe it's for anything above 3 lots.
But this one was processed.
No,
was
it's
filed.
processed, approved, reviewed, it's all, and we can get you a copy of the moratorium. We could get that forwarded to you so you have it to review.
It's just stuck, right? Is that, just so I understand, like, so it's not denied, it's just stuck.
it's stopped.
Nobody can
It's
do
totally
anything, because, so let's say the town enacts a new 2 or 5 acre zoning process. So even though it's stuck, he can still proceed, but he will have to follow that new 2 or 5 or whatever the new zoning process is. That's what he'd have to comply to?
Once the moratorium is over, if
And that's passed.
Yes.
And but if
Yeah.
that's passed. So I would probably, knowing that you've got a couple of projects going on in the town of Wappinger, and the town of Wappinger seems to be very pro, making sure we're set up for the developments that are coming in and everything like that, and seems to be changing a lot of laws around lot sizes and whatnot. I would probably recommend getting more involved, since it seems like you're kind of disconnected to what's going on in Wappinger as far as be more involved in these meetings so you kind of know, because I would hate to see you spend more money. Like you're saying, you're spending a lot of money before you even applied for this, right? I don't want that to happen again, especially knowing you have several projects going on, so.
The trouble is no one in town hall knows when the moratorium expires, what's going on, and it just sounds like they make the decisions up as they go. Well, that's why I'd love to get to the town board. I don't know how to do that.
That's probably the only thing you can do right now is just.
Can I get into the town, can I make an application to get in front of the town board for this project? I don't know if that's possible.
Not sure what action you would be applying for. You can go to the town board meetings.
They have
Go
a
to
public
the
session where you can articulate what your concerns are.
But you can't get on an agenda or anything, I just don't.
Well, but you'd be in front of the town board and you can articulate your concerns.
Correct.
All right, so I guess we'll visit the next meeting there, and then hopefully I'll do a little homework and we can communicate and figure out how I can get back in front of you good people.
Okay. Okay. Pretty much all we can do at this point. All right?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. So we're down to the end of the agenda this evening. Is there anything else anybody wants to discuss regarding anything we have? If not, entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion's made and seconded. All in favor? Aye.